Hello, my name is Dan Land Pro. Don't forget to go over to youtube.com, Dan Land Pro or Webmaster Dan. Subscribe, hit that like button. Hey, 100 videos in 100 days. You know what today's topic is? Today's topic is the art of Chicago stepping. Now, usually when you bring up the art of Chicago stepping, you're going to get an argument about the 6 count, the 8 count, kick, kick, cross, cross. We're not going to do that today. What I'm going to do is give you a slight history lesson on where some of these things come from. Back years ago, I had a website called SteppinsExpress.com, the jazz of ballroom dancing. Now, the reason I named it the jazz of ballroom dancing as a tagline is because I've always seen stepping from the perspective or a comparison with jazz. Jazz, which is also another thing popular in Chicago. I used to take a camera and I would go into certain events. I wasn't looking to just film stepping and put it up on social media. I would pinpoint specific dancers that I knew when they got together, it would be just like a jazz session with some musicians. You didn't know what was gonna happen, but you knew something special was gonna happen. So I would turn my camera on. I'm ready. I'm gonna make sure that whatever happened, I get it on camera. Now, a lot of people, younger people are doing that now and calling it the get down. So whether I was capturing man on man or some superb, excellent steppers, it was not a choreographed session or performance. It was something that was improvisational, no different than some musicians having a jam session. Now, the thing to remember about musicians having a jam session in the jazz community or culture is that sometimes you can capture what they did during that performance and it couldn't be repeated the next day. Those same musicians couldn't repeat that performance if you paid them. And it's the same with some dancers. They don't know what they're going to do. All they know is when they get together, when that rhythm and that creativity and originality come to surface, something special gonna happen. Now, if you try to get them to repeat that tomorrow, they can't repeat it tomorrow. And that is the difference in improvisation or in choreograph. Choreograph, you can keep repeating the same thing over and over, and that's why it looks mechanical, it looks pre-planned, and it looks robotic, because it is a teaching tool. It is something that you keep repeating and repeating until you remember it, until you can perform it off of that memory. And just like I compare stepping to jazz, I compare those teaching methods to something as simple as, say, in the spiritual community where you might have Baptist, Catholicism, you may have Protestant, but they all teach about Jesus. They all teach about the Christian faith or how to get to heaven. You might have a comparison where you have a community college or university. You can get a 2-year associate's or you can get a 4-year bachelor's or master's or PhD. It doesn't really matter as long as you understand that those are teaching methods. Those are educational curriculums that allow you to learn about a particular scholarship. So if we take that and put it into the stepping community, or the stepping culture as some people call it, and we look at it from that perspective, the 6 count, 8 count, and kick, kick, cross, cross pattern are only teaching tools. They are methods for you to learn the art of stepping. However, the art of stepping is about performance. It is an improvisational dance that once you learn it or break it down into those segments and fragments where you can learn it, break it down, put it back together, and then perform it, then you come into your own originality and creativity, which allows you to perform it on a level of improvisation. But when you add the improvisation in, things should happen from a rhythm and a soul perspective. So I'm not here to argue with that any more than I'm here to argue with the 6 count, the 8 count, or the pattern. I'm not here to argue whether stepping is community or cultural. Those are two different types of arguments. Only thing I'm trying to express is that I've always perceived stepping from a comparison to jazz. Steppins Express, the jazz of ballroom dancing. And that is how I filmed it, that is how I defined it, and that is how I appreciate it. Now, I'm not asking you to accept that. I'm saying we should be able to have an intelligent discussion and sometimes debates to where we can share our views and opinions about this dance that's as famous in Chicago as anything else, if we could just get it off the ground floor up to the penthouse with everything else. Hey, I'm Dan Land Pro. I hope I said something to encourage you, inspire you, and empower you to take something that I said and build upon what your perceptions are and your perspectives are and your comparisons about this beautiful dance called Steppin, and build upon it so that the young people who inherit this dance from us as we inherited it from others can take it to the penthouse. Because Steppin, in all reality, it belongs in the place with baseball, football, basketball, hot dogs, pizza, and everything else known in Chicago. Hey, I'm Dan Land Pro. Don't forget, youtube.com, Dan Land Pro, or Webmaster Dan. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Till next time, peace.